Okay, this is first lecture for Chapter 9 of CFIN7, the capital budgeting techniques. So we're going to talk about the importance of capital budgeting decisions, the process that you follow when making the decisions. We're talking about investments in fixed or capital assets. So we'll talk about net present value, or NPV, and internal rate of return, IRR, or the sort of the two most widely used techniques, and we'll talk about how to make those how to complete those calculations, and then how to make the decision once you've executed the calculation. We'll compare the two, NPV to IRR, and we'll discuss why they don't always lead to the same answer. We'll talk about the conflicts that arise when using NPV and IRR and how they can be resolved using modified internal rate of return, or MIRR. So we're going to work problems in Excel, and the problems for this problem solutions for this chapter, and then in these videos I will use the BA2 Plus Professional. And then we'll talk about other types of capital budgeting techniques, and we'll do some of the other calculations related to those. So, what is capital budgeting? Capital budgeting is planning and evaluating your long-term expenditures, your expenditures on assets. Assets with a capital asset is an asset with a life that exceeds 1 year. In most cases, we're talking about projects that might be in place for 10, 20 years or even longer. If you think about a factory or some pieces of equipment. So, analysis of potential additions or replacement of fixed assets. A new piece of equipment that's going to replace an old equipment. When to make that purchase. What's the optimal time to make that purchase. New equipment a lot of times will increase efficiency, but there's generally a fairly specific point in time when that occurs, when it's most beneficial. So these decisions are very important to a firm's future. They determine the profitability. These decisions will determine the ongoing profitability of the firm and growth. So generating ideas for capital projects. So it's growth and its ability to stay competitive depend on new ideas for new products, so forth. You think about any number of multinational firms. Apple always comes to mind because they're always trying to develop a new product, develop a new iPhone, so forth, or produce that at a lower cost, so forth. So we have to establish procedures for evaluating these projects. Project classifications. So we have replacement decisions. So, as I mentioned before, whether to purchase assets to take the place of existing assets, equipment, some sort of production machine, so forth. The old machine may be just fine. Think about yourself when new phones come out. Do you buy one immediately, or do you wait and see I personally like to see the bugs get worked out. I don't want to be a beta tester for a new phone or any other type of technology. So expansion decisions, whether to build new factories, expand existing factories, so forth. So anything to increase the operations or grow the firm. Other types of project classifications, we have independent and mutually exclusive projects. Independent projects are those that the cash flows are not affected by decisions made about other projects. Mutually exclusive projects are projects that the acceptance of one means the others cannot. Think of a company building a new factory. They're only going to build one factory, and they may have a number of sites that they'll choose from to build that factory, but that decision is mutually exclusive. Think about yourself when you're, for the most part, most of us, when we're buying a car, that's a mutually exclusive decision. We're only going to buy one car, so it may be any number of brands. But once we make that decision, all the other types of cars are excluded. That is the definition of mutually exclusive. Then the post-audit. So compare your actual results forecasted, and then explain why any differences occurred. The reasons we do this is to improve our forecasting and improve our operations. So we'll start the second lecture with similarities between capital budgeting and asset valuation.